explanation of what happened.
If you came to groove, there's no reason to prove.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And now you've got yourself something funky.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
All right, welcome to RTF Sports Talk. I am Maka Bakash, the host of this fine establishment. Joined today with always Billy Hatton. Billy, how you doing today?
Doing great. Good Sunday morning, getting ready for a birthday party. My daughter.
Oh, happy early birthday to your daughter there. How old is she?
She's turning 4 on Wednesday. So
Turning 4. Well, happy early birthday to her. And we're joined today with a special guest, Matthew Lyle. How you doing today?
I am good. Happy birthday to Billy's daughter, and ready to get this show rolling. Got some good NFL football coming up today, so excited to talk about it.
Well, let's go ahead and get started. Kansas City Chiefs, Jacksonville Jaguars. I would have to say this is the premier matchup of the weekend. Matthew, we'll start with you. Who do you got and why?
There's a part of me that I guess I'm going to go Chiefs on this one just because they get the home field advantage. But I'm really flimsy on that. I'm not sold on that one by any means. It is, like I said, it is in Kansas City, but Patrick Mahomes is facing the best defense that he's faced all season. You got a little rift between Ramsey and Hill going on out there. Blake Bortles hasn't looked spectacular. He looked pretty decent against a questionable defense when he played New England, and I would venture to say Kansas City's isn't much better if it's actually worse. So I think Blake Bortles isn't going to get in a situation where he's going to make a lot of mistakes. Now, one thing that is going to be interesting, apparently the weather's pretty bad rain-wise today. Now, that might clear up by kickoff. I still just going to give so many weapons. I'm going to give it to Kansas City here. Now, one thing I am very interesting of, I know Jalen Ramsey likes to talk smack, and everything he said was true about Tyreek Hill. But you kind of got you got rid of your cop-out, because if he happens to have a good game or he happens to embarrass you, which could happen, and it happens to everybody in life, they're going to go back and say you didn't get beat by a wide receiver. You got beat by what you just said is a kick return specialist.
Yep. And
that's going to look bad for him. So that really has little factor into the game. But with Andy Reid's offense, it comes down – I don't think it comes down to Jalen – if Jalen's with him all day, which I don't know if he will be, it comes down less to Jalen's ability to cover and more of Jalen's ability to tackle. Because Andy Reid knows how to get the ball into Tyreek Hill's hands in a way that's unstoppable. Whether it be lining him up in the backfield and he do a jet arrow out and you just dump it to him real quick. The question is not going to be, can they get the ball in Tyreek Hill's hands, or can Jalen Ramsey cover him the entire time? The question is going to be is, once Tyreek Hill gets the ball at the 1 yard line or 1 yard in, can Jalen Ramsey then shut it down? So I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I wish the weather was a little better so we could see both those offenses flex. I do like Keelan Cole on the Jaguars. I think he can make some big plays, but I'm going to go Chiefs slightly, and I'll be honest with you, boys, I could be talked out of it.
All right.
Well, let me do my best impression of trying to get you out of that pick. I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars for a couple reasons that you already mentioned. You already said that there may be bad weather. Well, that already favors the Jacksonville Jaguars, where it rains every single day in Florida, feels like. And they have the offense built to do that. I like Kareem Hunt, but when you talk about giving the ball to Leonard Fournette 30, 40 times a game in a mud fest, I think I like those chances.
Leonard Fournette's out.
Another thing, that is true. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
I still think that favors the Jacksonville Jaguars, because their offense is not centered around Blake Bortles slinging around 30, 40 times a game, as well as kind of like how Kansas City does with Pat Mahomes. Two, I think every year, we have a breakout star. They do incredible things, and Pat Mahomes has been doing incredible things. I believe he's now up to 14 touchdowns on the year, no touchdowns. Second only behind Peyton Manning. They all got to have that one game where they come down to earth. Last week that was kind of there, but he still didn't make him any mistakes. And then crunch time, he played well. This week, as you alluded to earlier, Matthew, that you say this is one of the best defenses that he's played so far. This is the best defense in the NFL right now. They're first in points, first in yards, first in pass yards, 10th in rushing, but they're still allowing under 100 yards rushing. So I think this is the week where they lose, and they, like I say, they playing against an aggressive defense. And to your Tyreek Hill point, I think Andy Reid is the best at doing that. He will put, as you say, he will put him in the backfield. He'll put him in the slot. He'll line him up directly behind the receiver. He'll put him in that quarterback. He's going to find ways to get Jalen Ramsey off him, because in this game, Jalen Ramsey never travels. They always just let A.J. Boyd because they think that he's a capable corner, and he can do. He was an All-Pro last year. So I think Hill will have a big day because of all the stuff he do, but I think the Jazz come out and come on top.
And there's certain things in life that can't be explained, and one of those things are the Jacksonville Jaguars being undefeated when Leonard Fournette's out. I believe they're something around 6-0 now. That is very interesting to see, and maybe they are a little better when they don't have such a featured back in the backfield.
I think that's what it is.
Both these teams have a history of, okay, you got our attention, now show me what you can do, and then letting us down. So one person's going to win this game. I actually think, and I think a part of me thinks
you hope one person is going to win this game.
Well, I mean, somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to win.
You are
absolutely right, sir. You are absolutely right. So Mike, can I just go for a tie? I don't think that's going to be the thing, but I do think the Chiefs. I think they both are going to let us down. True, but I think Jacksonville lets us down this week, and then the Chiefs let us down against New England when it's probably going to be on prime time. That's just my opinion on that, because not to go. I'll touch on that when we go to we don't go to the Patriots. No, but I think
too, man.
Well, because and not to tear this to the Patriots, but the Patriots have a way of going. They start 2-2, and then when you write them off, last year they beat up on a little team, and then you're like, okay, are they back? And then when they proved they were back when they slacked Atlanta on primetime TV in Week 6. I think that's going to be Kansas City next week. This week, though, I think Kansas City gets it done. My only thing is, you're right, they don't travel. Ramsey won't travel with his receiver, but I think Kansas City has enough receivers where the outside corners have to respect that. And I would be surprised, Tyreek Hill's pride aside, if he lines up on that outside very much. I think you've got Conley and I think you got Watkins you can put out there, and that will pretty much, with their speed, I'm not saying they're going to dominate, but with their speed, I think that's going to be enough to keep the cornerbacks for the Jacksonville Jaguars, tied up, just kind of chasing them around all day.
Oh, no, you're absolutely correct, because I was flip-floppy on this game myself, I just figured this may be the week where Patrick Mahomes, 2 weeks in a row, he get to face two good defenses. In that defensive front, we didn't even mention Calais Campbell and the boys up front. I mean, they have one of the best pass rush in all of football, too, to go with that back end. Some of the fastest linebackers, and Tobin Smith, Jerry Jack. I mean, this defense is for real. But, I mean, you could be right. Like I said, this is a toss-em. It was really a toss-em for me. And I really just thought of the Jazz pick. I had wrote down notes for both teams. Right. But then I called you, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to flip it to the Jags.
And
like Matthew,
I saw how Jackson. What?
Yeah, I think Sammy Watkins is ruled out for today as well. Just FYI.
Well, then they'll put that other. Don't they have another guy that they've been throwing to, number 11?
Yeah.
I just don't. I just don't
Kelsey.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think, and that's what I was going to say. I think if you look at film, the cornerbacks, I think the hubris might be what takes down Jacksonville's defense. You got corner. You put your lesser, and I put air quotes around that. You put your lesser wide receivers on the outside, so that takes up the cornerbacks. You take up Bouye and Ramsey. We already saw in the Patriots film what they do to stop a tight end. They're going to put a safety, one of their safeties, and one of their fast linebackers on Kelsey, who is arguably as good as Gronk, if not better, depending on who you ask on what day and who's healthiest. So
Sure.
we know how they're going to stop tight ends. Well, now that leaves a safety and a linebacker getting the ball to covering Hill and Hunt. Now, the difference maker in this is going to be, and you brought good names for that D line, is what kind of decision making does Patrick Mahomes have? If he identifies, because I don't think he identified in the first half versus Denver. If he identifies that I got 2 seconds max, I think he'll be okay. But if he allows those young, feisty defenders to get after and get on him early, it could be bad for him. So the biggest thing that's going to come down, in my opinion, to how Patrick Mahomes plays. He has to realize he's not going to be able to chuck for 6 touchdowns today. Probably not even going to get 2, maybe 1 on the ground, 1 in the air, much like he did against Denver off the screen.
True.
If he can make peace with that, I think they got a good chance to win. If he says, "Nah, I'm going to be the young gun who tests this," a la Brett Favre, because yes, he still hasn't thrown an interception, but I thought he could have had 2 against Denver last week.
Yep, couple tip passes here.
Yeah, a couple tips.
Right.
One went straight up and fell right behind the defender. If it would have been just a little different, he would have had that. So depends. I'm still leaning Chiefs on this, but whatever, it's going to come down a lot to Mahomes.
All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the 2, I think, surprises teams in the AFC. The Cincinnati Bengals versus the Miami Dolphins. Blue, let's go ahead and start with you on this one. Who do you got and why?
Oh, I got the Cincinnati Bengals on this one. I've said this many times on the show about every Florida team in the NFL. I've lived in Florida enough to know that they may start out good, but it's always going to start getting bad. I have never trusted Ryan Tannehill from the beginning of the season. And, I pointed that out, that they hadn't played or beat any good team at this moment. So right now, the Cincinnati Bengals is playing some of the best football that they can play. And we know in the regular season, the Cincinnati Bengals can get hot. It's in the playoffs where they get a little dicey. It's 0-4 since Andy Dalton's been the quarterback there. But I think this game right here is prime Cincinnati Bengals. Tyler Boyd, that kid has been, it seems like that's been one of Dalton's favorite target. We already know what A.J. Green can do. So what does the Dolphins how can the Dolphins secondary stop the passing attack from the Bengals? I just don't think it happens.
Billy, I'm right there with you, man. Especially with all the rules protecting the offense in the NFL. The NFL is almost like just a different version of the NBA. When we talk NBA and you talk who's going to win it, you say, how many All-Stars do they have? That's the conversation you have in the NBA. If they don't have 2 All-Stars, they're not making the playoffs. If you don't have 3 All-Stars, you're not making the Western Conference Finals or the Eastern Conference. If you don't have 4 All-Stars, you're probably not going to win. And I think that's what we're getting with the way the offenses are protected in the NFL. If you don't have 3 playmakers with a decent quarterback and a decent secondary man, you don't stand a chance. I look at the Dolphins. I wouldn't call Tannehill decent. I'd call him all right at times. They do have Grant, and they do have that other little buddy. I'm drawing a blank on his name. There's some speedsters. But other than that, I don't really see much. Now, when I go to Cincinnati for the first time in quite some time, I see things. I see Andy Dalton, who can be all right. I see A.J. Green, who is a stud. I see John Ross, who looks healthy. I see Joe Mixon, who, when healthy, can make plays. And, like you said, Boyd is really coming in there and making his own. So the numbers add up when somebody sits around and says, why is the Bengals successful this year? Well, especially with a lot of the rules that are being changed, these numbers are adding up. Miami Dolphins had their chance. We talked about this last week. They had their chance to prove things by just competing with New England. They couldn't do it. And I think that, especially since New England and them live in the same AFC East house, that was more demoralizing than they think. I think their season begins the downward spiral that everyone thought it would be. Mike alluded to it earlier that they're a surprise team. I think the surprise is over. And I think it starts with Andy Dalton and these weapons picking them apart. And look, by no means am I saying that the Bengals are a Super Bowl contender or an AFC champion contender. And I think that's what's so demoralizing about the Dolphins' downfall is that the Cincinnati Bengals are your new run-of-the-mill team. And they're going to carve them up. So I think it'll be Bengals by quite a bit.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on to the next game on our list here. It is the Baltimore Ravens versus the Cleveland Browns. Matthew, go ahead and start with you on this one. Who do you got?
You know, am I bought in is the question I'm asking myself. Now, up the last question, the last topic we had, I went through what you needed to win, and I think both teams have a version of that. I think in the long run, Mayfield will be better than Joe Flacco, but Joe Flacco has better experience. But there's just something around Cleveland. They're celebrating things. They're celebrating not wins, but they know this is as close as they've ever been. But at the same time, man, they just don't know how to win yet. They had Oakland. They had Chucky backed up in a corner, choking away leads like he has done all year last week. And it couldn't be done. I think the Browns get painfully close to winning. And boy, do I mean painfully. Maybe not an overtime game, but I think it's going to come down to like a 4th and 1, and the play's just not going to get made. And I think Baltimore goes on to win by just a couple. Baltimore's probably my least favorite team, and I don't know why. I just don't like them, I guess. But it pains me to say that is it the purple? I don't like Terrell Suggs. I don't like Joe Flacco. I don't know. Maybe it's just something. Maybe just all of it. But I don't like to say this, but I think even though it pains me to say Baltimore's going to hold on to it, they do got Justin Tucker, who's a really good kicker, and that might be the difference here. For some reason, and I don't know if this would have played any different. It all panned out because they missed some and hit some, so they still got stuck with 28 points. But for some reason, Buddy for the Browns chose to go for 2 every time last week. It didn't make sense to me, really, especially since they got the new kicker. I'm going to go Baltimore Ravens by just a hair.
If I'm going with my heart over my head, of course, I will be saying the Browns. At home, maybe that home crowd gets you going. The excitement to see Baker again. Maybe he needs some of that home crowd cooking. But if I'm going my head, I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens. So far, they've been playing some of the best football as anyone, in the NFL. Joe Flacco has been playing good. 8 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions. They've been controlling the ball on the ground with Alex Collins and Buck Allen. John Brown hasn't caught many passes, but the passes that he has caught has been deep and for touchdowns. So I just think, but I like the way my defense has been playing. The kid that we got out of Ohio State, he's a player. I really, really like him. But I think the Baltimore Ravens win this game, and I think experience will take over. And as you said, I think it'll come down to a ball off the foot of Justin Tucker.
Alrighty, guys. So I'm surprised of what I'm hearing so far from Billy Hatton today. I'm kind of surprised of the way you're going here, but this is going to be your favorite game of the night, Billy. The Texas Bowl, Texans versus the Cowboys. Who do you got?
Yeah, because I know it's going to be on my TV. Oh, my God.
This is the Sunday night game, I believe.
The Sunday night game,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I got Dallas. I got Dallas winning this. Why is this game even the Sunday night game? Seriously,
Because the Cowboys are amazing.
the Texans and the Cowboys. I got Dallas winning this. I think Zeke is just too much. I think Zeke is going to be the difference in this game. I think Zeke is the reason they win. I think Zeke gets 150, 2 scores, about 26 carries, and I think he does at home. And Dak Prescott is he'll have another game where he throws under 200 yards passing. So I think that's the story of it.
So I look at these two teams, and even though Dallas isn't by any means leading the division or blowing people away, I still think they're overachieving to a standpoint. I'm not that impressed with their receivers. Zeke is obviously good, but that line isn't what it once was when anyone was back there running for 2,000 yards. I think Dak has a long ways to go to get to where even these younger cats are. And then I look at the Steelers. I look at the Texans. I think when I look on paper, they're better than 1-3, and you got that one win by a dumb coach call. Like that's the only reason you got that one win. I look at that defense. That defense can stop Zeke. Now they're questionable in the secondary, but Dallas Cowboys passing game's questionable, so that's going to be all right. Watson, I think that injury's biting him in the butt. We talked last week, walk and stop Patrick Mahomes. There was a lot of this hoopla around Deshaun Watson this time last year. Tears his ACL, doesn't quite look the same. The receivers, though, can Dallas stop Hopkins? Can they stop Fuller, depending on how healthy he is? The Kuti kid who stepped up last week really balled out. I scooped him up for my fantasy, trying to hit some capture some lightning in the bottle. I think it's going to be a close game. These primetime Dallas Cowboy games, they always find a way to compete when America's eyes are on them. But I think this is the one where the Texans start kind of coming to who they are, which is second in that division. I think they're going to compete with Tennessee, who already has a win. I think Jacksonville is the best team in that division. I think Tennessee's just the most soundest. They kind of know who they are as a team. They're not really great, but they know they're going to win some games. And Texans know who they are. They just don't know how to capture that yet. I think that's what's coming to fruition tonight. I have the Texans winning about 3 to 5 points. I think Dak makes a mistake down late. I think I think there'll be in the fourth quarter. There will be a play called that takes the ball out of Zeke's hands, puts it in Dak, and Dak makes a mistake and allows the Texans to win.
So Billy Hatton going with the Cowboys.
I hope you're right.
You mentioned the last game, Billy, is head versus heart. Maybe that's what this is. Up there with see. So let me set the record straight on this. We're talking about my personal feelings on this. For some reason, and I do not know it because I don't know any Ravens fans. I don't like the Ravens. I don't know why. I don't mind the Cowboys. It's just the Cowboys fans that I enjoy seeing be miserable.
Yeah, but that's who makes it so hard to me. The fans, they make me hate the team.
How about them Cowboys?
Cowboy fans. Worst fans in America.
All right, guys, and let's move on to the Monday night game, Saints versus Redskins. Billy, go ahead and start with you on this one.
Now, this game right here I went back and forth on who I was going to pick in this game. I like Washington's rushing attack right now. Adrian Peterson, Chris Townsend, they're fifth in rushing right now in the NFL. Who would have thought this Washington team would be top 5 in rushing at 137 yards per game? The defense is starting to come along. They're coming off of a bye week when where the Saints is kind of they had some tough games. They're rested, so I'm gonna go with the Redskins. I think the Redskins win this game. I told Matthew before we started that I texted Chris and I said I can feel a Wake Forest game coming along, and he said yeah, I can feel that too. I think he has a big game today. Last year he broke his ankle against the Saints. I think he come back and have a pretty good game. Over 100 yards catching, probably 2 touchdowns. I'm going with the Redskins.
You know, I'm right there with Chris's big game, but I also look at the other side. I look at what the Saints have. Drew Brees is just a little over 200 yards away from passing Peyton Manning. It's all-time passing yardage. He's got Alvin Kamara. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they get Ingram back this week. Michael Thomas is balling out, leading the league in receptions.
He's not messing around.
I think Chris is going to have a big game, and that defense is going to allow for a big game. In addition to his skill, that defense, Chris Thompson is going to have a big game. My question is, who else? Who else is going to dominate? Because I don't know if Alex Smith is going to be enough. Is it going to be Adrian Peterson? Is it going to be Crowder? Is it going to be one of those other receivers? Is it going to be somebody we don't know, which it tends to be in fantasy or in football this year? I don't know, and that's the part that makes this uneasy for me. I look at the numbers just add up. I look at the Saints, and I can tell you at least 3 to 4 people that's probably going to ball out. I look at the Redskins, and I can name you one person that's going to ball out, and I struggle to find that second and third. So with that being said, I'm giving the edge in the win to the Saints.
And also just to add some hype to this game, I think Drew Brees only needs 2 more touchdowns to get 500, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Since Brady got it on Thursday night, I think Brees is only 2 or 3 away, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So
yeah, see, this game wasn't easy for me to pick because on my sheet here, I got the Saints circled. You know, I switched that right in the middle of while I was saying why I like the Redskins in this game. It could most definitely be a blowout. I mean, that offense that Breeze and Sean Payton run down there in New Orleans, it works. You know, Sean Payton is one of the great offensive minds in all of football, and he finds ways to get guys open and get guys making plays. So I mean, it could definitely be the Saints by a lot, but hard overhead on this one, I'm going Redskins.
Alrighty, guys. So we got the 5 top games out of the way here. So let's go ahead and do some quick pick'ems here. We're just going to go straight down the list, and if you guys could just give me a quick team answer so we can keep the show moving along here. All right? So first up on the list, we got Broncos and Jets. Who do you got, Matthew? We'll go ahead and start with you on all these, and then end with Billy.
I'm going to go Broncos. I think they felt like they played pretty nice last week, and they let themselves down, and I think they bounced back this week.
I agree. I think the Broncos win this game. They get to Sam Darnold, maybe throw 2 picks. I like the Broncos.
All right, now we're going to jump over to the black and blue division, Packers and Lions. Matthew.
I go Packers. No matter what the name on the jersey says, I always tend to like Green Bay over Detroit. They got Aaron Rodgers, and you can't put anything past that man. I got Packers.
I got Packers as well. Aaron Rodgers have a big day. Devontae Adams and the boys. Jimmy Graham scores 2 touchdowns today.
All right, then we got the D football New York Giants versus the Carolina Panthers.
Let me go Panthers. I don't know where the Giants are going to find the offense. Barkley looks decent. They can't protect Eli. Odell hasn't found the end zone. And Cam Newton, like we talked many moons ago, is playing better with his slew of receivers this year. So give me the Panthers.
Panthers as well for every single reason that Matthew just stated. I'm not even going to say anything.
All righty. Tennessee Titans, Buffalo Bills.
I got the Titans choking on this one. I think at Buffalo, I think they find what they roughly had against Minnesota. Probably won't be as dominant, but I got the Bills winning.
I got the Titans on this one. I think Mariota have a big day. The Bills defense, what are they? we'll see. I think I got the Titans.
And as River goes to sleep here, next up, you got Atlanta Falcons, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Falcons have been knocking on that door, and I'm not been impressed by what I see with the Steelers. I think the Falcons find a way to get it done in a high-scoring game.
I also got the Falcons. Matt Ryan has played, absolutely amazing. 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I think they win it today.
All right. And then next up, is it Las Vegas yet on the Oakland Raiders?
I think they're still Oakland for right now.
Okay. So, it's the Oakland Raiders versus San Diego Chargers. Who do you guys got?
Well, I got the L.A. Chargers on this one. I think the Chargers will let the Raiders be close, but the Raiders definitely find a way to choke it away. I think the Chargers and Phillip Rivers gets it done.
Yeah, I got the Chargers as well. Raiders should be 0-4 right now, but that's okay. My Browns choked it away. I got the Chargers.
And a rematch of the Vikings and Eagles.
I think this is probably going to be one of the better games. I think the Eagles are just the better team at home, coming off a shocking loss versus the Titans. I think they find a way to get it done.
I got the Vikings on this one. I think that Kirk Cousins' number are close. I think that defense started to get better. Once that defense get better, I think they'll be on the road. I think this is a good week to start.
Let me ask you guys a quick question on this game. If the Eagles lose this game, is it time to panic in Philly?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No, I wouldn't say panic, especially not in the NFC East. Anybody can win that division, so no panic, no.
All right. Next up, 4:25 game, got Rams and Seahawks.
I'm on Rams. They got much better offense, a lot of firepower, and really the only guy on Seattle that could have stopped it broke his leg last week.
I agree. Best offense in football. 4-0. What is Seattle? What is Russell Wilson? Rams, big.
And probably the worst game in the NFL so far this year, Cardinals and 49ers.
And who cares? Whoever finds a way to not lose it. I'm going to put a little faith in Josh Rosen. There's something tells me that Kittle's going to have about 30 catches, but I think Josh Rosen finds a way to get a win.
Shoot. Any, many, mighty, mo. Yeah, I'm guessing Josh Rosen to get his first win today.
Alrighty, guys. I want to root for the 49ers so bad on this game to bring back my early childhood, like when it was the Cowboys and 49ers and Packers always in the NFC championship games they were fighting, but yeah, they suck. Alrighty, so guys,
it's a shame that's the last game you made it, man. It looks like we're going to end the show with a bad taste.
Well, that's just the way it rolled out. That's the last 4:25 game, and we already went through the Sunday night game, Monday night game. So, but we aren't going to end it yet, guys. So, final take, Matthew Lau. You got 3 good minutes.
3 good minutes, man. I don't know if I have 3 good minutes of anything in me right now. It's been a great sports season so far. My teams have been very successful. You know what? That's going to be my take. I'm making a take. I've inspired myself. Bandwagon 101. Let me tell you what it takes to be a great bandwagon fan. Actually, you know what it takes to be a great bandwagon fan? You sit back, and just like any business, you watch, and you say, hey, this is going to be pretty decent. You watch, you invested a little bit of time in it, and then you say, you know what, I'm going all in. Now, I've not really got to flex my bandwagon muscle very much. I came up being a Patriots fan off of a 1997 Madden game I got from Pizza Hut. The only 2 games you could play was the Packers and the Patriots. I liked the Patriots, and then 2 years later, they were in the Super Bowl. So I was like, hey, I'm going to follow this team. Thankfully, Tom Brady is a legend, and it hasn't made me change. NBA, I've been all over the place. I was an Iverson, a T-Mac fan, just because I like their shoes. Then I said, hey, I like this KD cat. And then I like what the Golden State Warriors did. Then they merged into one. So I'm riding this boat pretty strong. Baseball, man, I'll follow that with long. But the reason I decided to go on this little tangent is everyone likes to ridicule me for that. And I'll embrace it. I'll embrace what it is. But the part I don't understand where I'm getting the ridicule from. sports is the only thing you would ridicule me for doing that. If you saw me with an iPhone, you wouldn't say a word to me unless you didn't like iPhone. But for the most part, you wouldn't say the thing to me. Apple 20 years ago wasn't Apple. It was Microsoft. It was Microsoft. It was BlackBerry. It was Nokia. Once one brand stops putting out a quality product, you don't ride with that brand forever. I don't see people still rocking their old Zoom. I don't see people texting on their BlackBerry. No, BlackBerry and Microsoft stopped putting out a good product in that area, so you go to a new company who's putting out a better product. That's life. You just move on. I guarantee you, unless you have an old TV in your house, you probably don't have an RCA TV. You have Vizio. Vizio wasn't around 10, 15, 20 years ago. RCA was the game changer in TV. But they stopped putting out a good product. Here came Vizio, great product, cheaper to buy. You went and bought it. Same thing goes really with everything. Puma's trying to get back into the game, but that's because people stopped buying them because they stopped putting out a good product. It's only in sports where if your company, because let's be real, that's what sports is, it's a business, your company puts out a crap or below standard product and you're expected to still support and buy that company? Not me. Not me. I will ride with Microsoft when I like their Zoom and I like what they're giving me. But the moment they drop the ball, I'm moving somewhere else. Or the moment that someone else gives me equal quality but at a cheaper or less or more convenient way, I'm going to start consuming that product. So sports, which I said is a business to me, I'm going to ride with the best company that produces the best product that is the easiest for me to consume. As of right now, I will always ride with my UK Big Blue Nation. But when it comes to pro teams, which is a business, let's be real, we are not hiding that from anybody. If you want me to be behind your team, you got to give me a good product that can be easily consumed. And as of right now, I don't think anyone can argue that the Patriots and the Warriors have done the best job of giving you that.
All right, Billy Hatton, your turn, son. Billy Hatton. He's speechless, Matthew. Speechless.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was talking. I guess my phone had went on mute for some reason. But I was saying, I don't know if I even have 3 minutes. But I'm just going to say my Seminoles choked away a 20-point lead yesterday to Miami, a team that hadn't beat us in Miami since 2004. This marks 2 years in a row that we lost to Miami. Now my only hope is come November, we don't lose to Florida because that team seems to be rolling right now. God, that hurt it, even giving any credit to them. But we in trouble right now. We're 3-3. The refs took away a touchdown yesterday, but I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. Make sure you guys follow the Unpopular Opinion Twitter and Facebook page at Unpopular Opinion 2018. I'm on Spreaker live every single Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 12 noon. Tuesdays and Thursdays, special guest Tuesday and Thursday on Anchor. Go subscribe to the podcast.
And all those links are in the description below, guys. And as always, thank you for joining us on this Sunday morning 9:45 show. We are live every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 o'clock Mountain Time, and Billy's time zone there. Like I said, thanks for following us here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also join us if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iTunes, etc. Be sure to give that podcast a follow as well. And we'll catch you guys on Tuesday. Have a good day.